All right, we are heading to Module 12 now, which is going to cover the genres of folk rock and soul. Folk rock is one of my favorites. I can't honestly say that I grew up listening to folk rock. I'm not sure what I listened to as a kid, except a lot of Sesame Street and sort of folk songs and things. So I guess that makes sense that folk rock would be something I'm interested in because it's related to folk music. But also now, as an adult, an older adult, I guess, it reminds me of the 70s as far as me being a child. So I guess for me it's a little nostalgic, but I also find it just really tuneful music with really, really good words that are not just simple sort of word salad, but really thoughtful words. So I really like folk rock. So I have lots of examples for you there. And I was thinking about soul and thinking again back to my childhood. When Soul Train would come on the TV, on the channel, the station where we lived, one of the stations, it would come on around noon on a Saturday, which is obviously not the only time it was broadcast. It was a late night, later night show because it's a dance show, like would have been an earlier decade, the Dick Clark dance show or Ed Sullivan show, where you could see current great hot artists and upcoming new artists maybe that needed a boost that were going to become known. You would see them on a TV dance show. And I was just thinking about how I didn't realize at the time, because I was 6 or whatever, that how important a show like Soul Train was, because that was a new thing to see Black Americans performing and dancing and enjoying current music that stems from Black American experience, as you'll find out in the module. I didn't realize at the time what a big deal that was. What I mean is, it's not that Black Americans were not dancing and singing and performing soul and R&B and other music that is really stemming from the Black community, but that it was not, until that time, it was not usual to see this music celebrated on national television. That's the difference. That we go from a very sort of 1950s Leave It to Beaver, everyone looks the same, we all do the same things, to a real flowering in the 70s of lots of different musical expressions. I will also point out in the module that being a kid watching Sesame Street and Electric Company meant that I was not totally separated from all the popular musics like folk rock and soul and British invasion rock that was coming in, because Children's Television Workshop, the people that made Sesame Street and Electric Company, made a great effort to make a lot of the music that was done in Sesame Street at the time and Electric Company at the time, to make sure it was the music that people were listening to. So a kid would tune into Electric Company and they'd see the little kids band on the show. Short Circus was the name of the band, but they'd be singing in a doo-wop style, or they'd be singing in a soul style, or they would do a folk rock number. And of course we see that on Sesame Street because Sesame Street would actually have artists on the show, musicians, current people come on the show and perform in their styles. So for me as a kid, awkwardly, I'm learning about popular music as a kid from Sesame Street. Everyone else is like, hey, that educational kids show is doing music that sounds like the stuff that we're listening to anyway. And so I think that is a really vital link that I think it's easy to forget. If you watch an episode of Sesame Street today, you just sort of assume that it's full of current cultural references. But that was a big deal. That was one of the sort of innovative things of children's educational television in that particular sort of slice in the Children's Television Workshop. So what will you do in this module? You're going to watch 2 videos, one about folk rock and one about soul. They are both done by my brother, the other Dr. Hansen. So in places in the lecture when he's lecturing and I have a difference of opinion, you'll see floating across the screen, you'll see a note from Dr. Hansen's sister that might discuss something that Dr. Hansen brother brings up. I'm sorry, the sound quality isn't better. It has to do because we teach at 2 different universities, and so borrowing his videos is not as easy as just like copying them. So you might want to turn your volume up a little bit, and I've certainly captioned them. He has taught and studied the whole history of rock genre a lot longer than I have. So again, I think you get more from his nice, concise lectures than you do from me sort of reading his lecture notes. So I hope you enjoy this unit. It's got some of my really favorite examples of music in it.